What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and it is the Paul James Show, our round 21 preview episode. We are here to discuss a game this weekend between Geelong and Port Adelaide. There's a whole lot more we're going to discuss, and I'm looking forward to doing so with you. We, of course, have some live football going on right now between the Dogs and the GWS Giants that we'll discuss, as well as all of the other games for this round. We've got our player spotlight tonight. We'll go Q&A, we'll go game of the show. There's a whole bunch of different things that I'm looking forward to discussing with you, including some of your thoughts on the various videos that I've published on the Hoops Crew channel this week. Of course, there's been enough of the week where I was talking about the fixtures. I've put a video up there about Alex Davies that I think it was Jackie that so accurately predicted who the subject of that would be the other day. Did an amazing job there. The video's live. I've seen lots of comments, lots of thoughts and opinions from lots of people. So please go and check that one out. Lucas is on board talking about TV ratings because, of course, it was Amy. Amy's, sorry. But also shout out to Amy Rockstar for that pick the other night. Lucas talking about TV ratings for some reason. Lucas, I'm keen to hear your thoughts. There's a Nintendo Direct tonight, so I'm keen to hear your thoughts on that one as we move through the show. But Jackie's here, Shadoo's here, Mark's here, Luke's here, and I'm sure there's many others watching the stream right now, and I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you over the course of the night. But before we get into game preview and match selection and all of those cool things, let's get into some news now. Tom Morris has been talking about something that I've been talking about at the very least on the Hoops Crew for quite some time. That is, of course, Rowan Marshall, not Todd, like I messed up several times earlier in the year. Tom Morris is reporting the Cats have been circling the 29-year-old this year, anticipating a departure if Tom de Koning made the move for Moorabbin, which I think at this point is all but a certainty, right? Tom de Koning is absolutely going to the Saints. And so in that particular scenario, it seems as though Rowan Marshall, who is a big part of the miracle that occurred between the Saints and the Melbourne Football Club on the weekend, might be headed down the highway to the Cats. And I think that's a huge, huge addition for us. Please, if you haven't gone and checked out my video that I put together for that, which is now probably 2 months old, when his name was kind of being bandied about, please make sure to go and check it out. I'm keen to hear all of your thoughts on Rowan Marshall and the possibility that he is a Cat in the future. We've got a few starting to pop into the chat as we go here. Kate's popped in. Old Memory Owns You talks about how many Neil will kick against a nobody. Hopefully he kicks none, and all of the action goes towards Jeremy Cameron so he can make some serious inroads into that 100-goal milestone that we're hoping he'll reach this season. Thomas Nash has popped in. Spartacus is here. Lucas is still, he's now talking about Cozzy Owns You being suspended. Brendan has popped in with justice for George Stevens. Yeah, he's not even made the emergencies list this week, which is, or the extended bench, this week, which is a surprise. But we'll talk more about selection shortly. So that's the Rowan Marshall situation. Really, Tom Morris reporting on something that we've been discussing for months now and feels like a near certainty as far as I'm concerned because of the other half of the situation, the Tom de Koning one, which is also a near certainty at this point. Really, really eager to see him don the hoops. Jared has popped in for the first time tonight. Brendan says, how does someone get demoted? Still referring to George Stevens. Yeah, it's rough. He's been playing, he had a pretty rough game in his last game for the seniors, but geez, he hasn't deserved to be being thrown out in the back alley like he has. But Jackie says emergency equals Chook Lotto. So maybe there's something to that as well. The Giants are missing some pretty handy players tonight, according to Horatio. Of course, that game is being played as we speak, and we'll talk about that soon. Shadoo says, Fox Footy reported that the Saints have said that they won't be letting Marshall go, but if the price is right, it'll happen. I think his Rowan Marshall contract... Rowan Marshall is contracted to the end of 2027, so they do have the whip hand, of course. But I think they can say all of this, and this is a lot of bluster that you get from clubs when they've got players they don't want to go. But when you are St Kilda, where you're offering Tom de Koning $1.7 million a year, and you're offering Nasiah Wanganeen Miller the same sorts of money, and his price has probably gone up astronomically off the back of this past weekend, something's got to give. You can't offer nearly $4 million to players all in one fell swoop, I might add, and expect no one to fall out as a result. So Ron Marshall will leave the Saints if Tom De Koning arrives. Almost certain about it. Lucas says Scotty hates the kids. Spartacus says Stevens needs more shoulder surgery. He's carrying our team. And Brendan says a new sign joined today, the family today, and will hopefully be allowed into GMHBA Stadium on Sunday. Looking forward to seeing it, mate. I will be there, as I'm sure many of you will be. And a big reminder, that is the perfect little segue. Please, if you haven't already, just RSVP'd or shout it out, jump into our Discord or reach out to Ben via DM. Tell him whether you, if you're coming to our Little Creatures brewery in Geelong community meet and greet that we've got going from midday on Sunday before Geelong goes to head to head with Port Adelaide. We'll make a move to the ground after all of that, but it'll be great to meet a few of you face to face if I haven't already, and we'll go from there. Mark says we have a couple reasonable options languishing in the twos at the moment. Look, it's a blessing and a curse, right? It's a great thing to have because you've got a really strong list, but it does mean that some really high quality players are missing out on opportunity. Shadu says, I noticed your Alex Davies video got linked on Big Footy too. Good. I hope they enjoyed it, and also perfect timing. Join the Discord. We love new members, as Shadu says. So if you're planning on coming, if you've just been watching, you're not really a commenter, but you're keen to come and meet up with the likes of myself, Ben. Don't know how many of the chaps are going to be there, but certainly myself and Ben will be there. Please pop on over to Little Creatures from midday on Sunday. The game then starts at 3:15. We've got a little bit of time to have drink a couple personalities, open up a little bit, have some fun, chat, meet, greet, and then wander over to the game. Lucas says, where are we? Oh, didn't pin. Crow's open to a trade for Wanganeen Miller if he signs for the Saints. Rochelle, Curtin up in the trade. There is no scenario, especially Dan Curtin. I think there's no scenario where he's on the table. I couldn't possibly believe that. But I mean, Luka Doncic in the NBA proved that in professional sport, anything is on the table these days. So we'll see. Oh, geez. All right. Next up is just a little shout out to the Rowan family, Gary and Maddie, who arrived their new baby Hugo in the last few days. So congratulations to them. Hopefully, little speedster doing some great things in the hoops sometime. Well, in about 18 to 20 years from now. But that now takes us to match preview mode. We can flick over here and look at the ins and outs. And as we discussed, we've got an extended bench at this particular point, but there's been a lot of movement for the opposition this weekend due to injuries and players basically being written off for the season. For the Cats, this is pretty straightforward. We haven't got any outs yet. Jai Clark, Jed Buse, and Mitch Nevitt all come in. I've seen a little bit of shock about Mitch Nevitt. He's been on the emergencies list for a few weeks now. So I know this because I do it every week and Ben makes the graphics for me. So his face has been there. But he's been featuring a few times on the emergency list and just hasn't cracked it in the last few weeks. And I still rate Mitch Nevitt very highly. So I'm paying attention. Jai Clark's return is interesting to see. He's been playing some really good football in the VFL. Hasn't really translated to the AFL when he's gotten the opportunity, but maybe this is that opportunity. And Jed Buse, justice for Jed. It's coming. He's closer and closer. This is the first. This is what happened last year. Those stepping stones right before the finals. Jed comes back in, starts locking down on those gun small forwards, and absolutely dominates through September. But no outs yet, no milestones, no new players. This is a pretty rock-solid Geelong lineup now as we lead into finals. We are close to fielding our best 23. And, of course, the news has come out over the course of the week that Cam Guthrie, Mitch Duncan, and Jake Kolodjasny, who's been kind of MIA and indefinitely out for quite some time, they are all coming back through the VFL in the next week, which is awesome to see. Again, that depth gets even greater for the Cats with some really high quality and very experienced individuals all in line for a return. It's going to make for a very interesting match committee over the course of the next month and that lead into finals. For Port Adelaide, big Ivan Soldo returns, as does Rory Atkins, who I believe just announced his retirement this week. So I think they're, especially now that Port's season is guaranteed to not result in finals, they're going to get him a bit of game time and celebrate his achievements in the game before he pulls up stumps in a few weeks from now. Dylan Williams is in. Jack Whitlock, one of the top-end picks from last year's draft, is making his debut this weekend. Manny Liddy and Will Lorenz are all in for Port, while the outs are Miles Bergman, who maybe he's just scared of Jezza Cameron. Went off injured last time, out this time. Jezza's just come off kicking 11. It's okay to say you're shaking in your boots, mate. Jack Lukosius is out. I don't mind that because he doesn't mind playing against the Cats, regardless of whether he's a Sun or a Port Power player. So I'm okay with that. And Logan Evans is also out. There are your lineups as things stand right now. It is mostly what you'd expect. We'll focus on the Cat side of things here. Our extended bench includes Mark O'Connor, Jack Bowes, Jack Martin, Brad Close, Lawson Humphries, Jai Clark, Jed Buse, and Mitch Nevitt. And if Lawson Humphries is ever the sub again, take Chris Scott out the back and dismiss him. He's not allowed to coach ever again. You thought I was going somewhere else, but there's stupid people making stupid comments right now, so I'm not going to make jokes like that. Shadu says, calling it Baz late out for Clark. I mean, I could see it happen. But he's also been pretty bullish on social media that he's playing this week, and he doesn't need to provide ammo if he can avoid it. Chris got signed with Geelong after telling Tassie no. 2029 is a joke for a guy that's blown 4 prelims, mate. You're getting too carried away. He's also won more premierships than most coaches in the last 10 years as well. Sorry, 15 years, I should say, going back to 2011. He's a fantastic coach. He is and the reason I'm disappointed, obviously, that we haven't won more flags or featured in more grand finals along the way. We've, Spartacus just says you've forgotten the 2 flags. 2 flags. Prelims have been lost, absolutely. We've even lost a grand final in his tenure as well. But this, you have to expect that. When you are competing at the absolute top level, top end of the top level, every single year, you just can't win them all. Geelong are already defying all of the odds, all history to remain relevant the entire time. Shadu, he wasn't told no. He just signed on with Geelong till the end of 2029. That's not legit. Lucas is getting a bit carried away. But yeah, he's defying all footballing logic, more than 100 years of footballing logic. And as a result, you're not going to win them all. You just can't. He's won 2 premierships in 15 years. That's more than some teams have won ever, let alone in an equivalent amount of time. Only in that period that he's been the Geelong coach, only Hawthorn and Richmond have won more premierships by 1. It's just not reasonable to expect that. I would have loved to have seen us win 1 or 2 more. There were certainly some years in that, especially in that 2016, 17, 18, 19 period where we could have and should have. Hell, 2013, we were 1 kick away. Travis Farco, we love you, mate, but that miss, bad time. We could have and should have won more. Absolutely. But and I'm still sure that memory owns you as Scotty. Scotty hasn't seen Carlton feature prominently in a final series in forever. It's just, and there's lots of supporter base who just haven't been able to experience what we've been able to experience. So I would take 2 premierships and a good chunk of heartbreak over just nothing any day of the week. He's defying all sorts of logic. So let's not get too carried away there. Scotty Too Hottie outed. Last year was disappointing and I can't have that again. Absolutely, it was disappointing, but I don't know that it was... I mean, I guess I wasn't part of the post-game live that night. I was too busy driving home and then putting the kids to bed, and by the time I had, basically post-game live was kind of done. But I don't recall walking away from that game hearing some sentiment that was the coach's box that was responsible for that loss in the prelim final. I think a team just got on a run. They got hot at one point during an arm wrestle of a football game, and they came up trumps at the most critical time. It happens. We also still could have pinched it. Mitch Duncan's just a little bit, if he was just a little bit younger and a bit more sprightly, might have gotten away and managed to kick that goal, or been a little bit more alert and kick that goal. That wasn't a coaching issue. Shadu says it was disappointing, but man, I was impressed we even made finals. I mean, considering Tom Hawkins had retired, I think a lot of people gone, oh shit, maybe there's our chances gone. Brendan highlights Max Holmes' hamstring once again at a critical time. You can't blame the coach for that. Like there's a range of different things that resulted in that outcome, and I cannot for a second sit back and go, coach. Hell, I can't even sit there and go, oh, Max Holmes' hamstring or Mitch Duncan's bad moment at the end. There's a whole these games are made of moments. Reece Stanley was on one leg and fighting away. Like there's a million different reasons why a game of football goes the way that it does. Very rarely do you get a Stephen Milne ball bounce that completely upsets an entire game's outcome. Also sucked in Stephen Milne. But it's very rare that you get moments like that. Hell, it's very rare that you get moments like Nasiah Wanganeen Miller and how that whole play's organized as well, which, if that happened in a final, you'd be filthy. And I guess the context is a bit different because it was 46 points and you probably have to look at the coaches there. But moments happen. I'm not worried by it. And it was a great opportunity for some of the younger blokes in our team to get a bit more experience, to develop. Lawson Humphries was playing his first final series. Shannon Neal was. There's a range of players who had never been at that level before and are going to be better off for it. So not at all worried. And I'm glad that I brought a smile to your face there, Jackie, by referencing the Stephen Milne bounce. It is still worth a chuckle. All right, let's continue on with our preview here. The injuries list, as we just kind of discussed before, and I'm going to quickly double check the GMHBA medical report. Geez, it makes for some good reading. Mitch Duncan, shoulder 1 week. Cam Guthrie, calf 1 week. Jake Cole, Jasny, groin 1 week. Ollie Henry, concussion protocol. I actually don't know when the hit happened. It must have been one of those delayed sort of ones because he played right to the end, didn't he, in the VFL? He was a pretty prominent feature late in the game, so we'll see. But yeah, the key thing is that injury list is now so small. It's really, really good to see, and it's a shame that our VFL team aren't going to feature in the finals because there would be more and more opportunities there for players to just remain fit, to keep getting experience, to keep going. We're now going to have to rely on a lot of match practice and a lot of match sim through training to keep our players fit, which is a bit disappointing going into the final series for the AFL team because the depth isn't getting the run that it needs. But that's about all you need to know when it comes to match selection. Let's get into the preview part of things here and talk about things like recent form and all of those sorts of things. Ben's put all these prompts and then hasn't given me any data to work with. So because he's having a rough time for old Ben at the moment. Please make sure to send Ben a little. I like dunking on the bloke. I really like dunking on Ben. It's one of the best things. But he's pretty flat chat at the moment. He's contending with a lot. So send a bit of love Ben's way, not just in the live chat tonight in case he's watching, but maybe flick him a DM, send him some love via the Discord. Not too much, though. Not too much. We don't want to go to his head. Please don't tell him that I sent you. I know he's watching this probably. Please don't tell him I sent you to do it. Just low-key. Hope you're doing all right, mate. And then pour a beer on him when you see him on Sunday at the football, just to balance it all out. But anyway, send him a bit of love. He's been flat out. So hence why the stream wasn't even a thing until 5 minutes before we got started tonight. But anyway, send a little bit of love his way and we'll go from there. But anyway, so recent form actually between the two teams, I need to try and work out where I can find. I know they have something like this on the AFL recent encounters. Geelong has won. Oh, come on. The AFL website is shitting its pants. We won 2 out of our last 3, but beyond that, of course, Port are a team that is struggling significantly right now. The last 5 matches that they have played, they have won 2 of those against Carlton and against the West Coast Eagles, lost to Brisbane, lost to Hawthorn, lost to Adelaide in a really ugly fashion last week. Geelong, on the other hand, have won 3 of our last 5, with those 2 losses being the Brisbane and GWS games. But we're in a pretty good place right now and should, in theory, get the job done pretty comprehensively. In fact, Kiri's popped in and said, Cats by 120 points on the weekend. Hopefully, those 120 points that we win by consist of 20 goals from Jeremy Cameron. Like 20 goals, 120 points. That's the margin. Everyone else breaks even. Jeremy Cameron kicks 20 and he makes gigantic steps into the common medal race, common medal thing. It's also, as Jackie says, 119 plus 1. So let's get to some of those little points, because there are some little teasers that we want to drop in here for Port fans who might have just stumbled upon this preview. Firstly, the last time we played earlier this year, round 10, the Cats won by 76 points at GMHBA, at Adelaide Oval. And in that match, Jeremy Cameron kicked 7 goals, 1. So he's hoping there's a repeat performance coming with a few more goals tacked on. Again, we're thinking about the 100. And I do want to hear your thoughts about the big 100 this week. There's been a lot of conversation about it, especially if it happens to happen on grand final day, should we make it. What would happen in that scenario as well. So keen to hear all of your thoughts. But let's troll the opposition a little bit more. So, of course, we just spoke about a big win last time we played them. But even beyond that, we've, of course, bring back the 2007 grand final win to the Cats. That was the margin. And the 2024 qualifying final where we won by 84 points. We've kind of enjoyed bashing up on Port Adelaide in final series over the years. They got 1 or 2 on us, I think about 2004, but we just we're kind of making sport of beating them in the finals. It's good. They also, Ben, straight sets exits in 2001 and 2023. There was an 11-game losing streak in 2011, which I think also consisted of a loss to the Suns, giving them their first win. If I recall, that was the Carmichael Hunt goal. But let's stop sinking the boots in there, because we've got some other things that we can keep a bit of an eye out for. Namely, Tom Atkins is now 2 tackles away from a record. So within the home and away, of course. So he's been doing some amazing things there. He's 2 tackles away from the record. Matty Rowell's going to surpass that record as well, but hopefully Tom Atkins can just keep him in arm's reach. The last few weeks, Matt Rowell has been notching up 13, 14 tackles a game. Tommy Atkins plugging away with his 9. He had a good lead. It's starting to evaporate. So hopefully he can fling a few blokes to the ground, notch up a few tackles, and come away as the player with the most tackles in a single home and away season before too long. We've, of course, mentioned the other note here is that Jack Whitlock from Port is making his debut on the weekend. Was Carmichael Hunt against Richmond? Didn't the Suns get their first? Did they also just get a win against Gold Coast Suns? 2011 wins. For some reason, I thought it was maybe they got the win against Port that year as well. Oh, Carmichael Hunt was against Richmond, but their first win was against Port Adelaide. That's right. Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying. First win was against Port, yeah. But then, the Carmichael Hunt one was later in that season. So thank you all for clarifying and refreshing me on that one. What's at stake for the Cats here? Every single game for us matters. I know these are low-level teams right now. They are struggling. They are without players. They are putting the queue in the rack at this point. They're sending players in for operations and getting them right to go for the following year. But the reality of the matter is we need to win every single game to ensure that we lock away a top 4 spot, potentially a top 2 spot. Hell, the way this season is playing out, top spot is still on the table. Adelaide have got a pretty soft draw as well, so I don't see it as being likely, but even that is still an option. So every win counts. We've got the opportunity here to give ourselves a home final. So I seriously hope we can take it. Apparently the doggies smashing the Giants. I'll have to check the scores shortly when we go around the grounds. Nope, I just took a look. Oh my God. What is going on? 64 points. That's only halfway through the second quarter. The Bulldogs will possibly have the most wins of any team and the highest percentage of any team to ever miss the finals if this continues. My God. All right. Where are we? And for Port, look, it's just trying to add some respect and send some of these players like Rory Atkins off with a positive, some sort of positive. So if they can pinch a few wins against some high quality teams along the way, that's good for them. Shadu says the live ladder, they are now 8th, of course, but there's other games still to be played. Keep in mind the team they are overtaking right now is the Gold Coast Suns, who've got a game in hand. And that game in hand is against Essendon, so you can notch that up as a win. As far as I'm concerned, the Gold Coast Suns are still 1 game clear and the Dogs 1 game behind every other team in the 8. But I follow what you mean. The live ladder, I mean, that's an unreal percentage for a team who's going to miss finals. Their percentage has already gone up 4 points so far tonight. And the Giants has dropped 5% already. I mean, that makes them very vulnerable. That absolutely makes them very vulnerable. I can't remember their run from here. But I don't think it was easy. I don't think it was super hard, but I don't think it was easy. Amy says that she'd love the Giants not to make the 8. Sorry, but we need a bit more of old Dimitri.
Направление? Какое направление?
Просто направление лучше играть.
Well, there's a big, big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty giant.
Get that shit out of here. So that's the game. Now, of course, the last thing we do when we go into preview mode here is we make a prediction for the game. I've got the Cats winning a bit like last week. I'm predicting the Cats by 60 points. I'm not going to get too ridiculous, but a healthy 10-goal win should really be the minimum expectation, given how depleted Port are, considering how topped up we are for players at the moment, and we're attacking finals. They're not. So, hopefully, and we're at home. We beat them by 70-odd points last time, and that was away. So minimum 10 goals should be the expectation here. Love to see something closer to 100 again. If we can keep building up that percentage, it may well come into play. Again, looking at that ladder, we do have a fantastic percentage. It is, if we can dish out a hiding like that, it's going to be greater than Collingwood's. It's still quite some way behind Adelaide's at the moment, but it might still be really important with a few of these teams that we're battling with. So worth smashing a few teams whenever we can. There is a big sound coming out of the Giants though right now. It is a big wet fart because they fucking stink from the look of it. But anyway, so that is our match preview done. Before we go around the grounds talking about the Giants and the Dogs and all of the other games to be played this round, we will take a moment and get those flower emojis ready for a word from our sponsor.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 1211 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Now, let's get back into things here and get into around the ground. Sorry, what? Let's try that again. That's not the right... Oh, you piece of shit. This stupid platform. So that's now the wrong game. Let's go back to Match Center and look at the games as they're being played. And, of course, you've all been discussing it in the chat here. 73-8 between the Giants and the Dogs. And what? But anyway, play stats. Who's doing the damage? It's a nice spread for the Dogs. That's really good to see. Aaron Norton with 2, Lockie Neal with 2, Tim English and Sean Darcy with 2. West, Poulter, Matty Kennedy with apparently a really dodgy haircut, I think I saw before, in the comments before. All with one apiece, Jake Riccardi, the only one for the Giants. And in that moment, there was 2 footballs on the ground and basically in play at the same time. So there was almost a moment where you could have halted play, and that would have potentially robbed them of their only goal for the game. Jackie with some flowers, Spartacus, Shadu, Thomas, all with flowers. And Shadu asked the big question, which Cats player would Cyril Cook sponsor? You might have to ask that question to the chaps. Who? No. I know who'd be the Geelong player that gets the sponsorship. It'd be Mitch Duncan, because that bloke, every single time I see him, he's just the ultimate family man from all I see. He just has so much in his heart for his wife and his kids. That's certainly the impression I get. So Cyril Cook sponsoring Mitch Duncan taking those flowers and giving them to his wife and kids on the daily. Is a legend. Absolute legend, Mitch Duncan. Spartacus says, Paul, are you you piece of shit? Is what I say when my lawnmower doesn't start. 100%. Yeah, Shadu drops the shucks. All right, so let's continue on with the other games of the round, because that game is highly disinteresting. Oh, they kicked a second goal. Look at that. Who kicked it? No, we've got to go back. Come on. Wake up. There we go. Who kicked the goal? It was Aaron Cadman. Look at that. Miracles happen. All right, the rest of the round is, this was for me, this was the interesting one. This was the one I thought, this could be an arm wrestle all the way to the end, and it's going to have a huge say in what goes on with the finals, and I guess it will in some respect, but I was not expecting a result like that. The other most interesting one for me is Adelaide and Hawthorn. The Hawks are starting to get their players back. They're going, I think, with like 4 tall forwards this weekend, which is a really interesting tactic against the Crows, but interesting strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. Dropping a Happy Gilmore reference in lieu of Happy Gilmore 2 coming out this week, which I watched last night. Pretty good. Not as good as the original, but pretty good. Lots of laughs. The Travis Kelce thing, dumb. Get out of here. But yeah, that's going to be a really interesting game, because if the Hawks can pull off an upset, that is huge for the Cats, and huge for the whole complexion of this top 4. So Spartacus says, Paul swears like I do at technology. Look, I love technology. I'm very much a tech nerd, but StreamYard, this platform that we use for streaming, it's dog shit. And we are actually working on moving across. OBS is a platform I've used for years for my game streaming, my game capture, for my podcasts and all those sorts of things. That is something we're looking at moving over to in the off season. And so the way that people interact with things like post-game live will be a little bit different in the new year. But we don't want to mess around and kind of change things up midway through the season. So stay tuned for that. Something I'm very much planning on doing is a lot of streaming through the hoops over the course of the off season. It might be more game stuff, but I love kind of getting the opportunity to chat with the community. And whilst there may not be new footy stuff to talk about, it is something that I want to do and chat with you about anything and everything. And video games is a good way to do it. I can sit there, play a game, chat with you guys in the chat at the same time. Could be fun. So, and that might be when we make the jump over to OBS. We can kind of start transition things there, get all of our new graphics packs organized, move them across to OBS, etc., etc. So stay tuned for that, because StreamYard sucks dick. All right. So we've gone through Adelaide and Hawthorn. Melbourne and the Eagles, not much to see here. Gold Coast and Richmond, not much to see there. Swans and the Bombers, I guess, because the Swans will smoke them. There's this other interesting one. Obviously, a former grand final replay here, Collingwood and Brisbane, and certainly 2 teams that are vying for the top 2 spots. This could be a huge one in terms of shaping those finals as well. But I am most intrigued still by Adelaide and Hawthorn because of the implications it can have for us. St Kilda and North, Geelong and Port, we've already discussed, and Freo and Carlton wrap up the round. Not a lot to see here for the most part. There are 3 big games, and then, of course, our own that we really care about. The rest, you could just throw them all in the bin. Don't worry about it. You're wasting your time. Go home. Take the rest of the season off, people. It's not worth the fuss. Right. Where are we? Apparently, it's thank you month in the AFL this week. There's ticket offers, kids go free, there's food deals. So check out all of that sort of stuff. Ben has linked me to some milestones that we've got going this week. That's a long list of milestones of sorts. Well, Stephen May won't be playing his 250th, I suppose, but no, neither will Charlie Kerno be playing his 150th. He's gone in for an operation. Sean Lemons for game 150. Lemons? Is he playing still? Is that bloke getting a gig? Apparently he is. Errol Goulden not ready to notch up game 100. Isaac Cumming the same. Brody Kemp, Josh Worrell, Darcy Fort, all in line to play game 50. Should any of these guys play, of course. No relevant game milestones for the Cats at all. On the goal front, this is an interesting one that Ben's kind of pulling all these together. But on the goal front, Tom Papley, if he kicks 2 on the weekend, will hit 300 AFL goals. Christian Petrarca, if he kicks 1, will reach his 1. I guess there's a few here. Christian Petrarca, if he kicks 1. Will Hoskin-Elliott, if he kicks 2. Cosy Pickett, Jack Higgins, and Cam Zerha, if they kick 3, will all reach 200 AFL goals. And that's about it because everything else is kind of irrelevant at this point. Yeah. No, there's not much else to see there. So let's move on from that one. Interesting that AFL Tables compiles that. Thank you, Ben. Where are we? If Pies beat Lions, they are the flag favourites. I think I've actually seen, according to the AFL site, that Adelaide have now pinched that title. But Collingwood, I think, should be still the favourites. They've been kind of cruising a little bit in the last couple of weeks. Notched up a few losses. They might be in one of those big training blocks now, and they've been a little bit rough around the guts. They've also been sidelining a few players to give them some rest. So you're not even teams are beating and not full strength Collingwood at the moment. So I'm not. If I was a Pies fan, I wouldn't be too worried right now. They just want to be up and about when the whips start cracking in a few weeks. Melbourne subbing out the whole team this week at 3/4 time, like against St Kilda. What was the genuine question? Thank you for what? Did I say? Oh, I don't know. Is it something I said? I don't know. Member thank you round. Oh, we're referring to thank you month. Yeah, I don't know. I'd prefer Angry Kingsley over Cuddly Clarkson. Chris Scott is fairly tame unless you're 7 goals up against North and let a goal through, which then links to Shadoo's Chris Scott throwing a water bottle at the window of the coach's box because North got a goal. Wasn't very tame. It was savage. There was an interesting reaction from Scotty. But Sam de Koning, I'll say, I commented on this the other week. He's come back. And he's not playing the best footy. He's not coming out. There's no way he's coming out of this team. But he's not playing the best football right now. So I hope that he starts to really fire up. It's thank you for being a friend month, apparently. No, in the VFL, we've got the bye. Bad timing for it. The AFLW, we've got another scratch match this weekend. It's against the Gold Coast, Saturday, the 2nd of August. Go check that one out. Obviously, it's on the Gold Coast. Check that one out via streaming if you can. Get to look at what the girls are doing. They bashed up the Saints by about 6 goals, I think, the other day. And I've said it a few times. I'm firmly of the mind that the Cats will go a long way this season. And I hope that they are successful. Our next point on the agenda tonight is our player spotlight, and it is Shaun Mannagh. Who's obviously broken into the team in the course of the last couple of years and been doing some pretty amazing things. Original team was Walla Walla. Drafted pick 36 in the 2023 national draft. Of course, there's been a lot of hype about Shaun Mannagh because of some really exceptional efforts in the VFL for Werribee over the course of that year. That earned him his Geelong hoops. I think there was a few other clubs sniffing around. Geelong got in first. Debuted round 1, 2024. He was the 1,113th player to wear the hoops. And in 2 seasons, he's now played 28 games, 2 finals, kicked 35 goals, and has been a mainstay of the team ever since he's arrived. He's been doing some really, Really good stuff. Some accolades that he's earned over the journey. He's the Walla Walla Seniors Best and Fairest in 2013. The Lavington ONMFL Premiership in 2019. The Ovens and Murray Grand Final Simpson medalist in 2019. And the VFL Grand Final Norm Goss medal winner in 2023. His career highs in his AFL journey so far. Disposals, 26. Goals, he's kicked 3. Tackles, he's had 14 tackles in a game. And in a match, he's had 8 clearances. His contracted status, with the Cats has him with us in the hoops until the end of 2026. And I look forward to him spending a lot more time in the hoops in the years to come, because he's been doing some really, really great stuff so far. And here are some other prominent players to have worn the number 7 for the Cats, like Shaun Mannagh. And of course, I'm going to work from the bottom of the list up here. We've got Bill McMaster, recently passed. Rest in peace to the family. Actually, and I'll just shout it out. I put together that video back in January now. And the family reached out, having seen the video somehow, and expressed their thanks for that. And I know you guys won't be watching now, but it meant clearly my little sentiment meant a lot, which was nice. But it really meant a lot to know that, things that we do are having an impact with really important people to the texture of the Geelong Football Club. So thank you to the McMaster family for passing on the fact they'd seen the video and how important it was for them. It was a really special moment for me, and obviously it's been a really important and special part of the Geelong tapestry over the years as well. More recently, Isaac Smith played 70 games for the Cats, won premiership. Lindsay White played 117 games. Ben Graham, the Super Boot, played 219 games and kicked a hell of a lot of goals. Paul Couch, 259 games and a Brownlow medal. And of course, Harry Taylor, the beloved Harry Taylor, 280 games, 2 premierships in that time, and is an absolute rock star. What have we got here? The chat's popping off. But that is our Shaun Mannagh player spotlight. He's doing some great things, and I look forward to him being in the hoops for many years to come. Flash says he's the best mature age pickup since James Podsiadly. Hard to argue with it, but you could make an argument for Tom Atkins. He was a mature age as well. I would say Tom Atkins has probably offered more so far. Shaun Mannagh, though, is coming on very strong. Shadu says, I think Scotty sometimes wants the Cats to be more ruthless and put their foots down. Damn it. Okay, I thought I just misspoke for a sec. That's what Shadu said. Put their feet down, put the foot to the floor. Yeah, I think so too. I think we could do with a more ruthless streak. Sometimes we play with our food a bit, which is some language I used to describe Hawthorn when they played last weekend. And with Carlton, and kind of kept the game a little bit interesting because of it. But yeah, I think Geelong plays with their food sometimes, and I don't like it. So I'm with Scotty there. If you're right, I'm 100% with Scotty. Amy says they've been working on fixing a few things in training. It was more to do with those things, not directed at SDK. Yes, no, I'd agree. It's an interesting tidbit. Shadu says, Spudica says, Shadu, definitely I thought because of how easy Sam thought he went a bit easy. Yeah, maybe. And then some sentiments around the McMaster point. That's, thank you all. It was really special. Shadu says the GWS comeback is on. Surely not. Down by 61 points. And yeah, Brad Close also mature age pickup technically. Just like a typical cat toying with their food victim. A little bit. And of course, Shadu was being cynical. Yeah, I know. But yeah, 61 points at halftime. All right. It's everyone's favorite time of the show. We've got some trivia, as well as some Q&A, as well as game of the show. So let's get into the trivia first. We'll then throw to the game of the show, which allows you some time to queue up some questions. Again, if you've got any questions about anything, comments, thoughts, ideas you want discussed as well, conversation starters, throw them at me when we get to that stage. Keen to discuss them with you. But starting with the trivia, our first point for the night, Ben's doubling down on Port Adelaide and grand final banter here. Which player had 37 disposals in the 2007 grand final? Which player had 37 disposals in the 2007 AFL grand final, where the Cats won by 119 points? Jackie nails it straight away. Kane Corns. 37 in a losing grand final. A massive deficit. It's a pretty good effort. Respect to Kane Corns for that effort. Who kicked 6 goals in the 2007 AFL grand final? Who kicked 6 goals in the 2007 AFL grand final? Yes. Jackie's got that one too. Port. The actual highest goal kicker in the game was Cam Mooney with 5. Individual, goal kicker, but Port with 6. That is the answer. How many consecutive goals did Port concede in the 2007 grand final? I love all of you for cottoning onto these so quickly. How many consecutive goals did Port concede in the 2007 grand final? It's not as many as 13, Flash. It is less than 13. It is more than 6, Spartacus. Don't say that, Shadu. You don't mean it. It's not 17. No, it's lower. Higher than 9, but less than 13. Lower than 11. We now know the answer. Oh, this tea's cold. Higher than 7, Kate. There we go. Jackie and Mark have jumped in with 10. Glenn says, just while we're in the midst of this, I think the AFL would be better if we had 2 grounds over the top of each other at 90-degree angles like Chinese checkers, 2 footballs, 4 teams, 4 sets of goals. It would be great. I think I just had a stroke reading that. And the last piece of trivia here. Outside of our 119-point win, what is the second highest winning margin in an AFL grand final? Outside of Geelong and Port Adelaide in 2007, what is the second highest margin in the grand final? And Aaron has nailed it. It's 96. 1998, Hawthorn kicked 22 goals, 20, 152, beating Melbourne 6 goals, 20, 56. And then, of course, you've got the Richmond win from 2019 against GWS. The Hawthorn win of 1983. Then the Geelong win of 81 points in 2022. Richmond's 81 in 1980. West Coast's 80 points in 1994. There's been some hidings in grand finals over the years. But yeah, as Horatio, as Aaron have both said, and apparently it's Horatio's first ever grand final he went to, so that's a spectacle. 96 points was the, to be fair, actually, 2007 was the first grand final I went to, but it was okay because we won. All right, that's the trivia for the night. Did we mention Mullen re-signing in the news? We mentioned it on Monday's show, in the news for Monday's show. So, for anyone who wants thoughts on Oisin Mullen signing up, we squeezed that into Monday's show because it was Monday news. Was the 1994 grand final against us? Hang on, let me double check let me bring all of that back. 1994 was against us, yeah. The West Coast and Melbourne. West Coast and Geelong one, yeah. We've been on the receiving end of 2 of the top. How many's in this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The top 17 greatest margins that have all been 60 points or higher. We've been on the receiving end in 2 of those. That is 1994 against West Coast and 1995 against Carlton. But we've been on the right side of the ledger twice, and we own the greatest margin, of course. So, we'll take it. on the positives and negatives, we are more in the positive than we are in the negative. We'll take it. All right. So, like I said, start queuing up some of those questions, comments, thoughts, concerns, anything that you want to discuss, not just around Geelong, but the broader game. Of course, again, there was the Alex Davies video that I published the other day that I'd love to hear some live thoughts from as well. If people have got those thoughts that they want to share. But we are going to get into our game of the show in a moment because tonight, and Lucas, I don't know if you're still around. I haven't seen you in the comments now for a little while. Maybe you've felt like the GWS and Dogs game has just gotten a little bit closer and you need to start watching it again now. Tonight, there is a Nintendo Direct. It's a showcase for like partnered games, third-party games coming to the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. And a big game that is already confirmed to be coming to the platform is called Hades 2. And I am firmly of the mind that tonight they'll be announcing that game is out now. I reckon we're about to get ourselves a cheeky little stealth drop here. They haven't announced a release date. It's been in early access on PC for, I don't know, like 12 months or something like that. But it's going to be coming to Switch 2 before PlayStation, Xbox. And and it's already kind of available on PC. But I expect tonight is going to be a big little stealth drop for that one. And I'm going to show you what this game is all about because it is super cool. If you don't like games, fine. Take a moment to just appreciate the artistry of this trailer. Because they don't really show much. Well, no, they show a bit of gameplay. There's all the good stuff in this. Buckle in. Check it out. This is Hades 2.
Good. Not good enough. We can but learn. And the greatest teacher is out there. Now go. Death to Kronos. Death to Kronos.
This is an opportunity for you to make a better future for us all. The least I can do is light your way down.
About ready to give in? No, I was born for this.
You trifle with powers far beyond your comprehension, witch.
Okay, if I call you witch like that. Vengeance for your family awaits you.
He is no mere titan. He is time itself, and time cannot be stopped.
Wait for me, Father. I'll be there soon.
So that is Hades 2. Hope you like what you saw. I fully expect that game to be out tonight. At the moment, we've only got teasers and trailers. Ben has popped in for the first time tonight. As I said, I didn't encourage any of you to give him any love, support, or anything whatsoever. He doesn't deserve any of it. And if he watches the show earlier on, anything that I said at the time was a lie, and I sincerely did not mean it. Spartacus wants some Ben action. Save that for behind closed doors. Ben's also got a wife. Let's make sure that we pay ultimate respect to the important people in his life. JL's popped in for the first time in the night too. 100K members or plus members for the 6th year running. Thoughts on Eagles fans? Be honest. Honestly, I haven't had that much to do with many. Or Ben, you can properly get fucked, mate. Geez, if I apply for another job sometime in the future and people look at my content, I'm shit out of luck. But back to JL's point. Thoughts on Eagles fans, be honest. I just haven't had that many dealings with Eagles fans. I haven't gone to WA to see a game over there. You all seem very hostile and sometimes really obnoxious and rude. But of course, the TV cameras will always show the worst. What we see on social media is always the worst. So you kind of have to take it with a with a grain of salt, and just kind of it is what it is. Every supporter base has their shit ones. It just seems like your club has more of them. Flash says Eagles fans are a bit primitive. Shadu asks, do we think the change having Blitz and Stanley kicking from behind in defense to forward has left us too exposed? Blitz also needs to work on his kicking. Oh, Blitz, you could cut his leg off sometimes. It's ridiculous. Jared says, just in relation to sorry, hang on, I didn't really answer the question. Sorry, Jared. I'll bring back your Hades question in a second. Do we think the change having Blitz and Stanley but kicking from behind in defense to forward has left us too exposed? No, I think we can balance it. I think I think there's still this point where we're trying to build that capacity to be flexible with some of these guys and put them in different roles within our structure. They might have played, Blitz has played defense, Reece Stanley's played forward. Like, they know how to do these things, but within the current structure, within the current configuration, what does that need to look like, and what's their role within those space? So you're always evolving in these positions. And so I think at this point of the year where we're getting some softer kills potentially, get down there, mess around with this, learn this, get yourself familiar with it, because we might need to flip the switch and move you here at different stages in the game. So I think it's really cool. I think it's important right now, but is it necessarily our plan A? No, I wouldn't have thought so. Now, going back to Jared, I love Supergiant games. Too bad I'm not very good at them. Bastion, Hades, and Hades 1 and Transistor. Haven't had a chance to play Hades 2, but I have a Switch 2, so I have a chance to try it out now. Like I said, I'm expecting Hades 2 to get potentially released tonight. And a little bit that's kind of fueling that, just to be clear, because it seems like just rampant speculation, is that the Steam listing for it, suddenly achievements popped up overnight last night. And then within 2 hours, they ripped them down. That only happens when you're an early access game. That only happens when you're hitting 1.0 and it's the full version of the game, typically. Certainly for the big dogs. So this game is coming out. It's real close. If it's not tonight, it's real close. There might be it's coming out in 2 weeks. But I really enjoyed Bastion, really enjoyed Transistor. I haven't played Pyre, and actually I've only barely dabbled in Hades, the original. But I got to play Hades 2 at a Nintendo Switch 2 Melbourne preview event. Nintendo invited me over to it. It was in the city. And went and checked that out and played it there. They had a third-party section, played the game there. And, geez, I'm pretty good at the attendant, the Nintendo employee that was there watching, goes, "You played this before?" I'm like, nah. Felt real good about myself. I then gave her a $50 note to say, as a thank you for all the unnecessary compliments. But he's going to give it a go. Good. I hope you enjoy it. Hades 1 was won so many Game of the Year awards back in 2020, where it had some pretty stiff competition from The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima and more. Final Fantasy VII Remake. It was a good competitor. Jackie says, in relation to JL's question about West Coast fans, very impressed so many of your supporters turn up to games in such large numbers with the team going so poorly. They must be commended. I do respect that, 100%. Sputic says, Paul, I also have a partner. She said Ben can have me. All right. Ben, you can coordinate this. Favorite opposition supporter, as in individual? Supporter base. I'm going to go with supporter base, considering JL's question. Favorite supporter base outside of our own. Probably Melbourne supporters, because they're just nothing. Like, they're just, let's go to the snow. Like, they're not obnoxious and rude. They don't really care about the football, so you're not really dealing with too much bullshit from them. So yeah, they're kind of my thought. That's my thoughts on that one. But yeah, Melbourne supporters, because they're just They don't offer anything. They don't push back. You can just watch the game and enjoy it and not have to deal with their bullshit. Unlike pretty much every other supporter base, at least within the Victorian groups. And again, the in-state ones, it's not the same because they're such a small number when they come to GMHBA or even at an MCG final or something like that. They're such a small number relative to the Geelong supporters or the neutrals that are there. So it's hard to get a real sense for what, West Coast fans I dealt with, and also Ben starts sinking your boots in. Rocco from Carlton is his favourite. Go check out the Jumper Punch, everyone. I haven't had that. Yeah, haven't had that much to do with in-state supporters. Ben will sink his boots in here, but because I'm in the MCC, you don't often see too many opposition supporters, like interstate opposition supporters, in the MCC for mostly fairly obvious reasons. So it means that I'm usually surrounded by like-minded people or neutrals. So yeah, that's I guess my kind of unique perspective to it as well. Continuing the Nintendo theme, Jared asks, cool, what other games other than Hades do you reckon will be the Nintendo Direct? Persona 6 maybe. I would consider Persona 6 extremely unlikely. I think that'll be debuted on a PlayStation or an Xbox stage sometime in the future. But I could see Persona 5 Royal come to Switch 2. I could see Metaphor ReFantasio come to Switch 2. And they're obviously Atlas titles, the previous Atlas titles as well. I think this is going to be a big day for ports coming across. Games that could never have worked on the original Switch coming to the Switch 2. I think Xbox is going to show up in a big way tonight since they're publishing things everywhere now. I just saw Jackie's comment. We'll get to that in a second. I think we're going to see a lot of Xbox stuff announced from tonight since they're basically a third party now. Horatio says he gets along well with Port and Freo fans. Shadu in relation to old mate Rocco says he's cooked. Essendon are just there and support the game. I've dealt with some horrible Essendon supporters. Don't have a lot of time for them. And they've had no reason to be up and about either. The best opposition supporters are Gold Coast, especially if you're down at the bench and need a hand being pulled out of the surf. Shadu says, Brisbane supporters are so bogan when Brisbane are winning, but don't give a fuck when they aren't. Lucas spoke to Rocco last night, I guess, on Jumper Punch. Good. Ben says, Marnie from Kanga TV. Jackie says that I am a closet Melbourne supporter. No. I am fairly obnoxious at the footy when I don't have my kids with me. I'm not, I'm a heckler. But I do like my MCC. I like not having to pay for a seat. I like not having to reserve one. I can just walk in and go take one. They're the perks. Reminds me, I've got to pay my MCC soon. Let me find $900 to pay for that bad boy. Corporate Boxer, he doesn't get to the games. There he is. I knew it was coming. Lucas says, must be bring your Bulldog Day at Marvel. How can dogs get in the grounds and sit in the crowd? Sorry, I guess I'm not watching the game. What? And Jared just sharing his thoughts there regarding my Switch 2 predictions. Switch Direct. It's 11 o'clock tonight, Jared. If you're planning on sticking around and watching it, let me know. We might utilize the gaming channel on the Discord and bounce a whole bunch of thoughts around. Paul just packed his angry eyes. Yeah, I have to be able to cut through steel with him sometimes. As a coordinator or a year level leader at school, sometimes you need to be able to pull out the daggers and just make sure that the students know it's so. There's a thing taking off, and I refuse to use the language because I need to be better than that in the school setting. But if any of them are listening, they're going to hear me say it. I share the year level coordination role for one of my year levels at the school. And the other person that I coordinate with, she's only part-time. She only works, she was working 3 days a week. That's just increased to 4 this semester. But prior to that, just the 3. And those 2 days that she wasn't there, I was also pretty heavy on for teaching. So if there was an issue, some sort of scenario, like some sort of behavioral thing went on in the classroom, and hey, we need a coordinator to come and help, I often couldn't do it because I was teaching myself. So a narrative started to pick up, especially for Fridays. And the The phrase took off amongst the students to represent the energy and attitude they were getting from me if they put a toe out of line and I had to come and deal with it on a Friday. They started to refer to Friday as "Don't fuck with me Fridays." And I absolutely adored it. Couldn't say anything. Couldn't really acknowledge it. Absolutely adored "Don't fuck with me Fridays." And the behavior problems weren't significant on a Friday. It's always good. Flash asks, would Paul ever get a Geelong tattoo? I will never get a tattoo of any sort. Jackie says, all good. You're an AFL member. Good. Cheese board for dinner, Paul. I made burger tacos tonight. Cheeseburger tacos tonight. Taco Thursday? It's not Taco Tuesday, but Taco Thursday. Anyone? Melbourne supporters are the Geelong Kmart edition. Where are we? Shadu says at Marvel the other night, there was a dad there with his young daughter. He was speaking so sweetly to her, explaining all the happenings, and then would randomly shout obscenities and swears. What's the point, mate? Then apologized to his daughter. They're teaching eyes for teens. I remember those eyes when I messed up at school. Jared says he'll be up and kicking about later for the Discord, so good. Lucas has apparently posted a photo in the Discord. What is the photo? Is it something that we need to share? What have we got? Did he put in the Paul James show? Oh, he's posted the Bulldogs. Oh, gross. Oh, don't even know. Oh, yeah, no, I won't make that comment. Hang on. Let me window Discord. The whole bunch of Bulldogs. Woof. You can just enjoy that. There's Don't Fuck Me Through Your Weekend. Jackie says, boo, we need Fuck Around Friday. I'm not copping it. They can fuck around Friday on any other year with any other coordinator. Not me. I don't have time for that shit. Bulldogs are an ugly breed. But I say that and I've got a Spoodle and a Jack Russell. And I had a Spoodle, got a Jack Russell, got a miniature dash hound. I've had German Shepherds and Cocker Spaniels. I only trade in adorable, beautiful, sleek-looking dogs. Lucas says, I sleep in a racing car, do you? Love it. Horatio made prosciutto and baby bocconcini pizza for dinner. Oh, what I plan to, and I've been saying this for weeks to my wife. So before I got into teaching, like in my uni years where I needed money, couldn't have said it any better myself. That was the thinking. I used to work at a pizza place, and we made a tandoori chicken pizza, and it was unreal. And I've been promising I'd make it for my wife, so I've got to do that. Hubba hubba those dogs. My French Bulldog is gorgeous. I won't be predicting a Bevo sacking in the 2026 season predictions. No, we can't do that. No more. Lucas says just post another photo. What else have we got here, Lucas? I'm going full screen again. And I need to get this off my other screen. Oh, but now he's dropping. Oh, Luke. Now we've got dog pictures popping up in the Discord as well. Let's bring it back for a second. All right, Lucas. That your dog? What breed of dog's that? This Discord has had a lot of Telstra in Paul's chat again. Anyway, this is the Discord for anyone who's not familiar with Discord. It's a great little platform that we've got lots of channels here. Hang on, I might try and reframe the size of it so it fits a little bit better. General footy news, we've got promotional stuff, there's ideas and feedback, trade targets. Any time that we've got a video that's new or upcoming, pings here. We've got a bot that does that. Lots of chat on game day. The twos, there's been lots of great conversation there as well. So please, if you've got some time, jump into the Discord. Ben usually has the link in the show's description. That's a Kelpie, Lucas says. I'm being on my best behavior because this is documented. Your live chat disappears unless I pin it in the video. But my comments stick around forever. And I can't delete this like when I doxed myself. But yeah, go check out the Discord. There's lots of cool stuff. As we mentioned before, I'll be popping up in the gaming one with Jared later tonight. We'll be bouncing back and forth about some of the stuff going on there. You can see who's online. Some people playing games. Some people listen to music. There's all sorts. Shadu apparently was playing World of Warcraft 4 hours ago. It's time to move on. It came out in 2004. Shadu. Be better. But I say that, and Shadu drops a link to the Discord. So please, there's that one. Bring on the dogs. Bring on the dogs. Pumpkin still number one ticket holder of the Hoops crew. Pumpkin get fucked. Saints TV in the chat. Oh, really? Did I say? Oh, any photos of Naz in the Discord? What have we got in the? Do we have in the Discord? There he is. Did you leave at 3/4 time on Sunday? Don't even worry. We were playing the entire last quarter on Marvel Stadium big screens from 12:22 before our game against the Roos. Very nicely done, St. Kilda team. I like that. That's a very, very good thing. So, but yeah, lots going on in the Discord. So please, obviously, I've got kind of my screen shrunk a little bit at the moment for the purposes of whoops, I've grabbed the wrong thing here. For the purposes of kind of the screen share, but great people in there. Great banter, lots of conversation, and really genuinely good stuff too. So Spartacus just dropping dog pics in there as well. More. Anyway, that's the Discord. So please consider checking it out if you're not already a member of the Discord. Spartacus says, Paul, which one is the Bulldog? I'm confused. Melania Trump vibes. Shadu is always playing World of Warcraft. It's time to can't stop, won't stop. The sort of energy I'm getting here. Ben asks, when will Geelong announce the signing of Naz to a 10-year contract? Now, you're doing that on purpose. It's time to clap back. But Lucas is always on PlayStation. Post another video. Photo, sorry. Oh, I can't keep sharing the Discord over and over, but all right. Lucas with a shirt on. A very rare Lucas sighting with a shirt on. And we've got more dog pictures popping up. The chat is the Discord's lighting up already at the moment. So please come and check it out I'm just mashing things here. He's enjoyed the shirt sighting on. Not my fault the login screen says I'm playing when I'm not. You lie. And that's your dog, Kevin. All right, it's pretty cute. How old's Kevin, Amy? All right, we're getting in the weeds here. Did I have anything else to talk about for the show tonight? No, we've gone through game of the show. We've done Q&A. We've done trivia. We've done everything else on the agenda. We're rocking it. So, if there's anything... So my first thing that I'm going to do when I see Ben on Sunday, and again, please, if you're in the Geelong area, if you come into Geelong and Port Adelaide on the weekend, Little Creatures Brewery, midday. First thing I'm going to do when I see Ben, so I'm going to go and buy a beer, a pint. I'm going to neck that beer really quickly. Then I'm going to glass Ben with it. Turns 6 in December. Hang on. I'm not standing for this shit. Goldie's here. Now, I won't overexpose her. She's due to get... Oh, you're going to talk to everyone? You can lick the mic. Go on, talk in the mic. Oh. she's due for a vet visit and a cone on her head. But yes, so to Flash's question, she is a pup. We're gonna have to organise take her to go get fixed really soon. She defaced the couch the other day, and I'm a bit worried about her even on my clothes right now. But yeah, beautiful little girl. We got her back in March now. Miniature dash hound, and she is perfect. That said, I wasn't. Hang on, I'll pop it back outside. But... We better get the main man in too. Here he is. Say hi to the people. Say hi to the people. Look. They're all there. They're all in that camera there. You just got to look at the camera for a second. There you go. I'm more of a mid to large dog person, with the exception of beagles. And sorry, I didn't mention, like, I had a lot of different dog breeds. So I've had a Cocker Spaniel, German Shepherd when I was a kid. Then the timing was awkward because I've been asking for years when I was a kid for a beagle. Never got a beagle. Got the beagle, Katie, when I turned 18. And so that was a tricky one because she got really settled into that home space. And, as I'm going off to work, she'd spend then time with my mum, who'd be at home when she was in the country, when I was kind of house sitting and not at different points. Spent probably 3/4 of the year kind of sitting in the house while they were living in Thailand and stuff. But then she'd come back and she'd look after everyone, keep everything going. Katie got really attached to the house. So when I moved out with my then girlfriend, that eventually was it your fiance at that point? No, but when we moved out, Katie stayed with my mum, which was a bit sad because I kind of didn't get to bring her with me. But we then got Pippa the Spoodle. I can see if I can find a photo of Pippa nice and quickly. And we had her for for a good 5-6 years. She's a beautiful dog. Absolutely loved her, but for some reason, just wasn't compatible with my kids. Things just weren't working. She was very bouncy, lots of great energy, wonderful stuff in a lot of ways, but it just wasn't working with the kids. She kept barreling them over, kept hurting them, and they started kind of pushing back and starting to get a little, like, it became a really kind of awful sort of relationship. And so I rehomed her. One of my then year 11s, she would have been one of last year's or the year before's year 12s. They already had a Spoodle. They were looking for a second. We were having our dramas there, so I ended up rehoming her over there. And I get photos every now and then, and I miss her a lot. But we rehomed her, and then eventually we got Barkley, and now Goldie, and things are going pretty well. The kids are just a little bit older, and so everything's just kind of worked. They had a little puppy, and they, everyone could kind of be brought up with the right sort of environment in the house, as opposed to a dog who's then, now kids are involved, and it's getting just wasn't ideal. It was a bit of a shame. But anyway, Thomas says, should I post a pic in the Discord? Apparently we're going back to Discord. Let's go back to Discord. We've still got, hang on, let me, boom. What else we got going in the Discord? There's nothing. Thomas, you haven't posted anything in the Discord. What are you doing? I brought up the Discord for no reason. Luke's got the conversation going 100%. All right. Well, I'll keep that there just in case. But all right, I'll take that. All right. Well, Kate has said I've had he had a boxer, American Bulldog, and a Staffy. You said had, like as in dogs that you've had over the journey. Do you have, is the Staffy the current day dog that you've got? Just for that bit of clarity. But again, I want to make sure I'm clear on this. Shadoo's probably going to drop the link again. The Discord, join the Discord. Lots of great people chatting in there regularly about lots of awesome topics. If you're not there, you are absolutely missing out, especially. Yes, Lucas. Yes. There we go. Drops that photo from time to time. But you're missing awesome profile pictures like Shadoo's one. Boom. Danger with a souvlaki. Kate says only the Staffy is alive and my son stole him, so no dogs anymore. Steal him back. Ain't no kid of mine's going to steal my dog. Take it back. No, if the dog's happy and being looked after, that's fine. Luke says, that photo is what I love the most. All right. I think it's probably time to wrap things up. In an hour and 40, have a Nintendo Direct that I need to produce content for. Although, we'll go back to the Discord just one more time. Because Ben has posted pumpkin with a pumpkin. And then Lucas has one more. Damn it, you people, you're going to keep me here all night. Pumpkin with a pumpkin. From Woolies. All right, Lucas, what have you got? This could be a moment to really surprise and troll us because I don't know what photo is about to pop up here on Discord. Please don't get us demonetized. Is that baby Lucas and Mama Lucas? Because I like it. Everyone drop your gnaws in the chat. And yes, Lucas confirms. Lucas and Mama Lucas. Pumpkin looking at a pumpkin like they're related but never met. There's your first from Spartacus. Shadoo says, guys, now you all have dogs. We're obliged to post puppy pictures. Absolutely. It's a thing. All right. Let's wrap things up for the night. Thank you all for having tuned in, as you always do. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always. So thank you all for your thoughts, your comments, your questions, your points of discussion for the show tonight. It's been a good time. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to all of the Hoops Crew content. Like this video if you haven't already. If every single one of you who've watched the show for any amount of time tonight like the video, it is going to do wonderful things for getting the content out there to more people. And we are still looking to grow. We want to bring in only the highest quality people. And yes, JL and other non-Geelong supporters. That does include all of you as well. You are wonderful individuals. We seem to, regardless of what team you support, only bring in the absolute best. But we obviously want mostly Geelong supporters because you are just that little bit better again. Because you made a good choice from an early age. You chose Geelong. It's the best decision you've ever made. Please, if every single person likes this, it's going to reach more and more people. It's going to help our reach grow, get more people with eyes on our content, and we really would appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't already as well. Check out all the Hoops Crew content. We've got post-game live coming up on Sunday after the game. There'll be my match reaction. There'll be Enough of the Week. The Chaps Chat Cats will do their thing as well. We've got lots of breakout videos. Again, we had the videos on Jeremy Cameron and his chase of 100 goals this season, whether that is or isn't possible, and if so, how might it happen? We've got the Alex Davies video, which many of you have come and checked out. Jake breaks out clips from the Twos, which is a Patreon exclusive product. More on the Patreon in a sec. Lots of cool stuff there for you to check out, so please make sure to see what we've got there for you. And of course, there's also all of these live streams. We are on Patreon, patreon.com/thehoopscrew, where about 40 of you are currently patrons of the Hoops Crew, paid up patrons of the Hoops Crew, and helping that dream to continue to grow. That you're getting monthly exclusives. There's extended content. There's extended exclusives. There's 3 E's. And early access content there for you as well. So go check out all the stuff we've got there. Lots of great stuff. Thank you all who contribute to that. But that is about where we're going to wrap things up. I'll quickly go through the bullshit. Darcy has 10. No way. Well, he has 10 of their 14 goals. Darcy has 3. What are you doing, Lucas? Anyway, what else we got? Oh, of course. Yeah. So Flash says, "Go Cats on the weekend. Happy drinking at the brewery. Say hi to Ethan, please." Ethan is Gary. Gary's just popped in for the first time for the night, watching the Melbourne Storm in the game. We're about to wrap up for the night, but please. Ethan is going to be in town. Looking forward to having him there. So again, if you're able to get to Geelong, if you're able to get to Little Creatures Brewery on Sunday, Ethan, one of our best contributors to Post Game Live every single week, is going to be in town. He's flown across from the US. He's coming to Geelong and Port Adelaide on the weekend, and he's going to be at the brewery from midday. So so make sure you pop in, meet and greet with Ethan. Spartacus says, "Geelong supporters, what the fuck's the rebuild?" Yeah. Glad Toby wasn't stiff, wasn't enough of the week over the Tom Papley fat. No, it's hard to really work out what Toby thinks need to get enough of the week, because he commits so many stupid mistakes. Hell, the horse kick into Dame Rampy as well, that could get pinged. But maybe there'll be more conversation about Fox Footy and the way they've decided to start addressing people through enough of the week this week, because that's ridiculous. Pre-meet at Shannon Pizza. If you want to make this happen, Ben, I could come for pizza. Spartacus says, "Hi, Gary. Bye, Gary." But also Gary Rightly says, "More likes. Drop them on this video if you haven't already." The dogs still on top, but haven't cracked 100 yet. Tom Papley is a menace, so it doesn't matter. Meet, greet, eat, and defeat Port. I'm all about it. All right, thank you, everyone, for an awesome show tonight. Somehow we pushed it to an hour 30. Looking forward to chatting to you all again on, stay tuned for my reaction video on Monday. And then, of course, the Paul James Show recap episode on Monday night. Until then, remain Geelong strong. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you later.